Okay, um, it looks like I'm live. I'm not entirely sure. Uh, but anyway, I'll get going. So, my name is Liam. I'm from Ireland and I'm 24 years old, but it's my birthday on Saturday, so I'm 25, we'll say. Yeah, I came through Xplore Asia in August last year, and I moved to Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam. And yeah, I'm just here today basically to tell you, I suppose, my story of my teaching and cultural experience so far. Um, and yeah, my backstory, I suppose, what I've been through, what I'm going through as a teacher, and basically just an expat also in a foreign country. And yeah, I'll get going. I suppose I'll begin with like the backstory as to why I moved to Ho Chi Minh City. Um, I suppose it all started like when I did social science as a degree in Dublin. And during those summers, I would go to Canada to work in like an adventure camp with kids. And there I kind of learned that I really like to travel, to meet people abroad from different countries, experience different cultures, kind of, I don't know, so I suppose just talk with others. And then also, I found out that I love working with children, and I suppose making a difference in any sort of way. And yeah, I remember when I was in Canada, people would talk about how they went to Vietnam and taught English, and that was a really good experience, and that there's loads of travel opportunities, but also opportunities to teach. So I thought they tick two of my boxes, because I want to be a teacher, but I also want to kind of experience different cultures. And Southeast Asian culture has always been an interest, so it was always kind of subconsciously in the I suppose in my mind. And I finished my course during the pandemic. There was nothing really going on. I had loads of free time, so I thought, right, now's my chance to do a teaching certificate. And because I had so much time, I thought I just might as well go for the highest level of teaching as a foreign language, CELTA. So I did a CELTA online course, just in my room, um, and I finished that in a month. I did the month intensive course, and then I went to teach in Italy. And taught in Italy for about 6, 7 months, and I really enjoyed it. And I was like, right, this is what I want to do. I want to teach English as a second language to non-native speakers. But I don't know, there was something missing. Not that there was not anything wrong with Italy, but there was something missing in terms of I just wanted something a bit more different from so it's the West, EU, Ireland. So I remember my friend, his sister had taught in Vietnam for like 3 or 4 years, and all her stories on Instagram, and then her stories she would tell me when she would come home. I was like, that sounds amazing, and so let's do it. And literally that's how it worked. I just thought, right, I'm finishing up in Italy. Next is Vietnam. I think there was like 3 months in the difference. There was not much preparation time, but that's kind of how I work. So I just kind of found Xplore through or like a recruiting agency, and I had a interview with one of the workers in Xplore, and then I was like, right, then it sounds good to me. And yeah, I arrived in Ho Chi Minh City on my own in August, and I pretty much, I think there's like 2 days I had it to myself, and then I started the course with Explore. And yeah, that was the beginning of everything really. And now I'm actually at the end of the first school year, and I'm in public schools, and so the end of school is now. So it's interesting talking about the beginning as I'm finishing now. Well, yeah, I'll just talk briefly about what the beginning of my experience was like. I'm also really worried that I tend to go on tangents, so I really hope I don't go on too many tangents. Um, so yeah, I arrived in Ho Chi Minh City end of August, not knowing anybody, just knowing that I'm about to start a really different chapter of my life, and that was quite daunting. To be honest, it was quite daunting. Yeah, and then started with a kind of cultural immersion week, and there's about 30 of us. 15 was going to stay in Ho Chi Minh City, 15 were going to go to Hanoi. And yeah, the 15 that we did that stayed in Ho Chi Minh City, the majority of them are like literally my best friends now. Like it's I live with three of them, and the rest like we all live within about 10 minutes distance of each other. Like we're a solid group, and it's definitely the best thing that's come out this year, without a doubt. That is really special and really special. I suppose knock-on effect from going through a company to go to start in Vietnam or abroad in general, wherever you're going. But yeah, we had the cultural immersion week, and then we did the Tesla course, and that was really good. I suppose what did I get out of that? Like, I have it written down here. Let me just look at this. Yeah, I suppose it was just like an integration into a whole new culture. I had a month before work, before I full-time work, to just like let myself settle into this completely new culture. Like there is no correlation, there's no comparison to anything back home. Like Ho Chi Minh City is the complete opposite of London, Dublin, New York, Paris, Madrid, any of the metropolitan cities from back home, and that's what intrigued me, and it did not let down. Like there's no way that I could describe the city and you be prepared for when you're actually here, because it's just you need to step foot off that plane, get in a taxi and go through the city to then realize like, whoa, this is what a big city in Southeast Asia is like. And like still to this day, and I'm not lying, I say this all the time, every day, this is, I could write a story about when living in this city. Like you see the maddest of things, which is amazing. Like no day is like the other, which is really cool. And like it's such a cliche thing to say, but no day since I've moved here, which is 10 months ago, no day was like the last day. Everything has been like, it's been like a whole different life, which is really cool, honestly. Yeah, that's really. So then I'll just go on to, what am I on? 7 minutes. Okay. I'll go on to my job. So I'm a public school teacher in a high school, for Vietnamese kids, so like 16, 17-year-olds, and I personally love public school teaching because it's not just a teaching experience; it's a complete cultural experience and cultural immersion. Like you are in the everyday lives of Vietnamese kids, and like I don't have enough time to talk about that. There's so much more to cover, but like I could talk about just being a public school teacher for hours. Like it's been the most rewarding thing I've ever. Like, when I say rewarding, like there's been weeks of like really intense hard work where I come home and I'm like straight into bed. I'm waking up at really early hours, 5:30 in the morning, and thinking, oh my god, here we go again. But then you have these days where it's like nowhere else in the world will you get this experience. Nowhere. And so many stories. Once again, every day is a story. Yeah, so that's me. Like I work about 24, on average, say 24 hours a week. That's pretty much like, and classes start around 7, end around 4 on average. Yeah. I'm gonna kind of go on to, I suppose, the struggles that I had throughout the year, which is something that I don't know, not a lot of people touch on when talking about teaching abroad. I suppose you're given when you're scrolling through like opportunities to move abroad, you're like greeted with all these pictures of like people, I don't know, on a mountaintop looking out on a beautiful lake with like a smile on their face, and what could go wrong? Nothing can go wrong. You're living abroad, and for the most part, it's true. Like as I said, every day is a story. There's beautiful things to be seen. There's beautiful places to be seen. There's amazing people to be met, and that's a constant factor. But it's not. It's life. It's not. There is different to back home, but it's still life. It comes with its ups and downs, and there are downs, and I've experienced them. And I suppose those downs is what's made me really appreciate this more, because you've experienced the lows, experienced the highs. So let's touch on like the two main ones, which is paperwork, visas, bureaucracy, it's it's tough. It's tough going. It's a lengthy process, and it's something that you have to be ready for in terms of visa runs. Um, yeah, from when you move here, you'll begin on a tourist visa, and then you'll move on to a different visa, and then eventually you'll get a 2 year PRC. I've just seen what the question is: how long does the whole process take? I'll get to that by the end, but and it's completely dependent as well. You have to have all of your documents ready, notarized, and given to HR, and then HR will be in complete, I suppose, in complete charge of the process and how quickly or how slowly it takes. And with Vietnam, you need to be out of the country for your visa to be processed, which can take up to 2 weeks, and that's happened to me. And yeah, it was a holiday in Thailand for 2 weeks, which is great, but at the same time, you're not in work, you're missing out on income, your consistent schedule is broken, and then that doesn't help for the kids because their consistency with you is broken, and then you have to kind of get that back, and it's a struggle. It is a struggle, and it's something that you have to set your expectations, and that when you're moving over here, you are moving to a new country, and it's not, you don't just come here and they hand you everything. You have to work for it, and you have to get your visa, and it's going to take time, and parts of it will be frustrating, but you have to understand that, you know, you're moving to a new country, you're working for a different country, and that it's going to take time to get a visa. Some companies are really quick, some companies are really slow. It's completely dependent on you and your situation and your company. All I can say in terms in generality is that just prepare for the worst. Prepare for a possible 10 to 14 day visa. It mightn't happen like that. You might be finished in 3 days, but just be wary of bureaucracy and paperwork. In Vietnam, it can be quite complicated, but there's a solution. There's always a solution, and HR have dealt with every country moving in. They know what it's like, but it's something that I would give as advice, just to set your expectations in terms of a visa, prepare for the worst, but it's never really the worst. And the whole process takes, well, from a tourist visa to a TRC. So tourist visa 30 days, TRC 2 years. It can take, best case scenario, I know people who've got it within 2 months. I haven't got one yet, and it's been 10 months, but that's because I lost my passport halfway through it, which set me back about 3 months. So I'd say that's an outlier. That's my personal experience. So I'd say 2 months to 7 months, depending on your situation. And once again, that depends on your company, and depends how quick they can be, the connections they have. It's completely dependent. And then the second thing is the way of life. We come from our side of the world, and we move to this side of the world. It's completely two different ways of life. There are some comparisons, but a lot of it is differentiations, and you have to. Another thing is just to set your expectations. Understand that you're in someone else's country. You have to alter your mindset, alter your way of life, and alter your I suppose communication to suit their country. And you're a visitor in their country. Things aren't going to work like they work in your country, and that's normal. Different cultures are different. None is better than the other. None is more important than the other. And to understand that when you come here, not to get really frustrated and lash out. Just take a minute, maybe talk to locals. There's so many ways. Talking to locals is the main way. You get their idea on how to become Vietnamese, or to the best way to the best places to go, the best places to eat. Food is a huge factor of Vietnam, and there's so many, literally everywhere you walk, there's a different type of restaurant that serves a different type of food, and it's really overwhelming at the beginning. Traffic, food, what else? Weather. I said there's three main things that are really overwhelming at the beginning, and you get used to them so quickly. I remember it was 2 weeks where I was like, this is too much. It's always hot. There's so many people. Motorbikes are everywhere. How do I cross the road? Um, and then 2 weeks later, you're crossing the road and you're putting your hand up and you're on a motorbike driving around the city, and it's nothing to you. It's so possible. Like, it's tough, it's grueling, it's daunting, but it's so possible. And like, I'm here 10 months later at the end of the term, signing on for the second term, doing the second year. Like, it's so doable. It's not easy, but that's what makes it rewarding. If it was easy, everyone's going to be coming over here and doing it. Um, yeah. Uh, what else was I going to say? Yeah. Let's see if there's any more questions. No. I suppose I can just talk about more about the job, and what it's like being an expat in the city. I can talk about Ho Chi Minh City in terms of Vietnam. It's a really social city. There's a huge expat community. Huge expat community. Like, it feels like you know everybody. There's that feeling that wherever you go, whether it's a restaurant, a club, a nightclub, football or any sport, you're going to bump into someone that you've bumped into before, which is really cool. As an expat, if you don't know anybody, especially if you come here on your own, it's a really good place for coming on your own, because a lot of people have done the same. So a lot of people in the same mindset of wanting to meet new people and create connections and create relationships. There's like an app called Reclub, where it's basically like a social media app, but just for finding meetups through sports. So you can pick your favorite sports, and then there's a full schedule of the city of where these sports are being played, if there's any spots left, how to get there. Yeah, so every Thursday I play, or every Tuesday and Thursday, I play football, and I've met some of my good friends through that, and I know a lot of people who met other people through different sports there, and so that kind of shows that how sociable the city is. There's always something going on, always. I'm never not doing anything. I'm never like there's always something going on. There's a really good nightlife scene here. If you're interested in music and going out, it's really good. There's a lot of cool underground scenes, and then there's amazing. Also on Reclub, there's a hiking club. If you're interested in like outdoor activities, nature, hiking, you can do hikes out of the city over the weekend. So that's really cool. So there's something for everyone. There's really good cheap transport, overnight buses, trains. So from Saigon you can go to Dalat, Moy Nay. So Dalat is, let's say, it's a hiking area, mountainside, really cool weather. Like, genuinely, if you're feeling the heat, you just go to Dalat for 2 days and you've got fresh air. Actually kind of looks like somewhere like maybe Canada or something like that. It's quite cool. Yeah, and then you've got Moy Nay, which is a beach. So if you want to get to the beach, you can get there in like 3 hours now because there's a new highway. So yeah, like there's a lot to do in terms of that. And yeah, as a teacher, I mean, you have language centers and you have public schools. Both have their pros and cons. So I suppose I can talk about that a bit. So I've done both. So when I was in Italy, I was working in a language center, and now I am in Saigon working in public school. So I can kind of talk about both. I enjoyed both. Just personally, for me, this is all dependent on the person. I enjoyed public schools more, but it's just more suited to me as a person. I definitely found that a lot of my friends prefer language centers. It's completely dependent. So language center here, you work predominantly on the weekends. So you work Saturday and Sunday for about, I think it's like 6-7 hours, and then you'll have maybe the same amount of hours, but spaced out between Tuesday to Friday. I think most language centers don't work on Mondays here. So yeah, and then you're working in the evening. During the weekend, you work all day. I think it's, let's say, 7 to 5, 7 to 6, with a break in between. And then during the week, you'll work evenings, so the kids are finished in school, then they come to the language center to learn more English. So yeah, I think I've got a few friends that work, I think it's average 5 to 9, with a break in between as well. So yeah, language centers, you'd be, I suppose, teaching English in a different sense to public schools. It's more specific, it's maybe more advanced. You'll have a lot more materials, You'll have, like, you'll be able to print out flashcards, you'll be able to have like a blackboard, whiteboard, you'll have a laptop, you'll be able to have watch maybe videos and play games through the computers, and you'll have a lot more ability to, I suppose, use different devices to be creative. Yeah, that's the main thing there. I suppose cons, once again, this depends on the person. You are working weekends. If that doesn't appeal to you, then language centers mightn't appeal to you. It's up to you, really. And then public schools, which is what I do. Pros are it's a Monday to Friday job, 7 to 5. You can choose primary, secondary, or high school. Each are completely different. I teach high school. I enjoy that. I also enjoy doing primary. You can, I don't know, as I said, it's more of a cultural experience. You're in the public school education system. You're working with actual like Vietnamese teachers. Yeah, I've had a lot of cool experiences that have come from it. I've played football with some of my students. What else have I done? Yeah, I've had all the students kind of sign my Irish flag just last week, and get like a notebook to write some notes. So there's a huge connection there you can make with the students, because you're part of their everyday life. Like you really do make a difference, and they make a difference for you. Like I can't explain like how touching it has been being a public school teacher and working with these kids every day. I'm still kind of processing what effect it's going to have on me, positive effect it's going to have on me. They're incredibly inspiring kids in Vietnam, incredibly inspiring. I don't know how to explain it. They've got genuine souls, and genuinely happy to be at school, and bring a really good energy that can lift you up when you're having a bad day. And they love fun. My God, I've never come across kids that have loved fun so much. Like, if you can turn teaching, or a certain teaching point, into a game, which is very much possible, they'll love you forever. They learn from their Vietnamese teacher more so grammar, writing, to the book, which is also important. I'm not saying it's not important, but it's nice that when they are taught by a foreign teacher, to have a different kind of teaching style, to show them that English isn't just, an exam that they have to sit, and a book that they have to revise. That it's a way that they can travel, get a better job, connect with more people, and experience more things. It opens so many doors that are open through learning English, and that it can be really fun. And if you can do that, and you can show them that, like, really, they really hold on to that and treasure that. Because that's what they tell me. Like, I ask them, like, well, why is it that you want to learn English, or what do you find interesting about English? And it's that, like, we know that if we have a good level of English, we can travel, we can talk with foreigners who come to our country. We can connect, learn more about different cultures, and yeah, that's what they want. And if you can show that in a fun way, they really latch onto it. They love it, really. Today I was doing egg and spoon races, That's kind of an end of term kind of thing. You know, I'm running out of ideas. There's a week left, but it turned into a whole competition. 45 minutes of egg and spoon races. Was there any English learned? Not really, but the whole lesson was done through English, so something would have something might have synced in. And they had fun. They really did have fun, and they had smiles on their faces. So, you know, if that's what you can do, that's what you can do. Cons, as with every pro comes a con. I mean, you've got 50 kids in one classroom, 38 degrees, not 35, 38 degrees. Some schools have aircon, some don't. Some just have fans. You know, in most public schools, the speaking part isn't actually examined, so a lot of kids know that. Now, this is more so, I suppose, to have my high school teenagers, and they know that they're not tested on it, so they know that they don't really have to pay attention. So you have to make them pay attention. And if you're not a disciplinarian, like I was at the beginning, that's kind of tough to be a disciplinarian and to learn how to be a disciplinarian. But it's doable, but it's hard. It's stressful. It's really stressful. Like, really, I never thought there'd be a day where I'm kicking kids out of classrooms for talking 3 times in a row, or being on their phone 3 times in a row. But alas, here I am, and that's a mental strain, having to do that for weeks and weeks. But if you're consistent, you set expectations, they know what you are as a teacher, you know what they are as students. You stay consistent, you stay stable, it's done. You can create an amazing atmosphere in a classroom that you will never forget. Never ever forget. This year has been everything that I thought it would be, but more. And as I said, it's so important not to just talk about the amazing things, but also to be aware of the struggles and to prepare for them, and to understand that some struggles are in your control and some are out of your control, and to pick and choose your battles. Every struggle can be like overcome, and there's so many expats and people you work with that have been in these countries, or in Vietnam in my case, that have lived here for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, are from here, who can give you solutions, who can give you ways to overcome this particular challenge. This challenge doesn't mean that you have to go home, or that you've failed, or that you weren't meant for this job, which is some things that I hear all the time. Like, there is a solution to everything, and that struggle that you will come to, all of us have come through that as well, and we all had that thought of like, what have I done? Why have I moved here? You'll overcome it. There's answers to everything. Like, everything I've learned here is through word of mouth. Just talking on a Friday night, talking to other teachers and thinking, oh, if you experienced this, yeah, what did you do? This is what I done. But yeah, I don't know really what else to say. There's literally not a single viewer here, so this mightn't have been for anyone to hear. But anyway, it's made me think. Any last things to say? If you're thinking of Vietnam, I suppose that's what I'm here for in particular. I couldn't recommend a country in Southeast Asia or Asia more. People are amazing. The culture is amazing. The food is amazing. Travel opportunities are amazing. The kids are amazing. Every day is different. You'll gain so much, I suppose, knowledge of what it's like to live in a different country here. You're going to be thrown into the deep end, but it doesn't take long to swim here. And yeah, I don't know really what more to say. You have me on Facebook now. If you have any questions about being an expat, being a teacher in Vietnam, in Ho Chi Minh City, in Asia, just text me. I'll respond. Yeah, I'm going to end it now. Don't know how to do that. So, see you there.